If I was buying as an investor, I would look at...
Say, oh, Global Village, where is that?
We don't have crystal balls. Even villas on the Palm will have...
So Jimmy, explain to me, what current cycle is the real estate market going through now in Dubai?
We're in the stage of recovery right now. We're seeing sales prices hitting all-time highs. We're seeing mortgage buyers in the biggest abundance we've seen in about 6 years. So people that were buying in 2016 to about 2019 are now feeling pretty good about their purchases back then, whereas on the flip side of things, the market's finally caught up in a sense where buyers who were maybe 1 or 2 years ago thinking, should I buy, is it the right time to buy? We're still very much in the middle of this bell curve that we're on right now. So I think people are still trying to buy in even at this market now with the hopes and the expectations that it's going to be here. So they're buying in here, the hopes it's going to be here in the next 12 to 24 months. And I believe in that.
So is it too late already to buy?
I don't think it's too late to buy into this market. Obviously, it's a given that if you bought in a year ago, a year and a half ago, you would have bought in at a substantially lower price. But it doesn't mean there's not still huge capital gains to be had. There's some amazing areas about to hand over. It's a very, very exciting time for Dubai real estate. There is brand new developments all the time in Dubai Hills. You have Arabian Ranches 3 handing over. You've got brand new luxury handovers on the Palm. You've got amazing new projects in Marina downtown all the time. And where we are right now is if you are an investor or you're somebody with the capital to be able to buy into, let's say, an off-plan development, maybe going with a developer with a good track record behind them, for example, buying into someone like Emaar, someone that is a staple around the world. You know, we think of the most famous building in the world, we think of the Burj Khalifa, we think of Emaar, we think of Arabian Ranches, we think of Dubai Hills. If you are to buying into something now on the off-plan market, you know that your market window is this big. These are the cash buyers that are able to buy into it, their 40% down payments and whatever payment plans that Emaar are offering right now. As soon as those projects become mortgageable and when they hand over, the market goes from this to this. So finally you have the supply here and you have the demand massively outweighing it. So if you combine these things and buy effectively and smartly with the correct advisors, then you're buying into these projects at a time where the market is on a surge and when these handover projects are going to serve not only amazing capital gains, but fantastic ROIs as well.
Assuming the demand will still be the same,
yes.
6 months from now, 12 months from now,
yeah.
How do you see the demand trajectory?
Any real estate agent that tells you that where he knows where the market's going to be in 6 months' time, even 1 month's time, is not being a truthful real estate agent. We don't have crystal balls. We can judge it on past experiences, and we can judge it on the common trends that we see within these markets. I feel we still have around about 12 to 24 months of solid growth left. I think there's so many amazing projects about to hand over that we're still going to see that growth for the next 12 to 24 months. That's my personal opinion.
Right, so I totally agree with you. You know, we don't have a crystal ball that can predict where we heading in terms of demand trajectory. But if I was to buy now, if I was your investor, I assume a lot of what you do, you're a buyer's agent, correct? So
yeah.
You advise your buyers exactly where to go in terms of whether it's an apartment or a villa or a townhouse or, you know, prime location or, you know, the suburbs, marina views or whatever it is. Where would you buy now?
It depends. If you're buying as an investor or an end user, it's going to massively change what kind of areas you're going to look at. If I was buying as an investor, I would look at, first of all, I would try and filter down what areas in Dubai have had the biggest capital gains for people in the past. And I think we think of maybe downtown, fountain views, and some of the massive gains we had there. Now we have Dubai Creek Harbour in its stages of handover at the moment. There's a few buildings which have already handed over and there's plenty more coming up. I would say Dubai Creek Harbour is going to be a really hot ticket item to look into, especially with the completion of the Dubai Creek Tower, with this new sector of downtown ready to be built. That's going to be a really hot ticket item, I think.
It's interesting to see that your answer to this question is Dubai Creek and it's downtown, but I also know, because I know who you are, I know that you've been for the last couple of years now covering the whole Dubai land area.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been selling properties there to your investors.
Yeah.
Knowing that Dubai land is mainly, at least from the communities that we're working with, is townhouses and villas. You've seen a shift of investments going from apartment style to villas and townhouses.
Yeah. Well, there's a really good there's a few major points that you can take from that. So first of all, when it comes to the service charges, they're significantly lower when it comes to villas. Then different areas have significantly lower service charges than others. Even villas on the Palm will have triple, quadruple the service charges that you're going to get from somewhere like Dubai Hills or from Arabian Ranches. With Emaar and their big community developments, they've established themselves in a way and they've done these developments in such a smart, effective way that they can offer people very low service charges on these areas. So if you're looking at purely from an ROI perspective, then looking into areas like Dubai Hills, like Arabian Ranches, it's starting to make a lot more sense to investors, especially for long term. When we did have this global recession and when we had COVID kicking in, one of the areas that held its value the very best, if you speak to any real estate broker, was Arabian Ranches and Dubai Hills. They're one of the highest transacted areas in Dubai, the Springs. Again, some of the highest transacted areas in the whole of Dubai. So you have to look at that as a key reason as to why you would look to invest into somewhere. And again, for end users, it makes a lot of sense to end users because of the way that they've established these communities for kids, for families, for transport links, and where they're located in Dubai's central hub.
So in other words, you're trying to tell me the best advice to give to investors is to buy within a community, long-term, looking at the capital gains, and long-term looking at the stability of the ROI.
Yeah.
It's coming from within communities that are mastered by these developers.
Exactly. So you can look at Arabian Ranches 2 as an example. So Arabian Ranches 2 in 2019 launched its first townhouse community. There was a huge demand for it. Up until then, only Arabian Ranches 1 actually had townhouses for sale. You would have to buy into Mudon, you would have to buy into Town Square, you would have to buy into Arabella, Dubai Properties. So when Ranches 2 launched Ream Community, they were limited to something like 250 units only. They sold faster than almost any secondary market villa community going. I mean, they sold out from Emaar almost immediately. And then following the success of that, they launched Camellia townhouses, which again have been incredibly popular ticket items right now. Brokers, buyers and sellers are all doing incredibly well in this community since the launch of Ream Community and the success of that leading on to Camellia. So again, for advice to an investor or someone looking to buy, look at Ranches 3. So Ranches 3 is perfectly situated somewhere between where the Mac Hills 2 is, going way down that Al Qudra way. It's a global village, and they're building this whole new area. When we think of the UK, when we think of America, when we think of anywhere, and we think of, okay, I can drive to downtown in 30 minutes. That's nothing. Like, some people commute for an hour to get to their major city. The thing with Dubai is, we think of like, I want to live on the Palms from 10 minutes away from downtown, 15 minutes away from downtown. You think of Dubai Hills from 15 minutes away from downtown. This Ranches 3 community is still going to be within 20-25 minutes of getting to downtown Dubai or the Palm. As soon as that hands over and they start being sold, people are going to look back towards Ranches 1 and Ranches 2, and the prices there are going to soar. And as they develop these communities around there, again, this is Emaar. They have a track record. They've had massive success with Ranches 1 and 2. They've held their value better than almost any other community in Dubai. Those are the areas that I'd be looking to invest into.
It makes so much sense. It wasn't even on mine 10 years ago when I first came to Dubai. Would have thought that I would be living, let's say, 30, 40 kilometers away from, where the beach is, or from the center of Dubai. So it's changing. Right, so Arabian Ranches 3, as you said, is almost in a place where I remember people used to say, "Oh, Global Village, where is that? That's way too far." And we've seen a shift, obviously, especially post-COVID, when everyone didn't want to be stuck in their 2-bedroom apartment or 1-bedroom apartment or studios, and now the shift to townhouses created all this demand, obviously.
Yep.
Since the height of the pandemic, the real estate market across the country has been booming.